the universe is not dying. And here's why. Because everything is made of energy. You think of it like this. Energy is more of an open source and renewable source than anything else you could ever think of. There are different types of energy, sure. But at the same time, though, the law of conservation clearly states that energy cannot be destroyed, but it can only be changed and multiplied, if you want to really get into this. But when you hear a lot of scientists state that the theory that the universe is decaying, or rather, it's a contradiction. Because why would the material that's inside of the universe be decaying, but like the universe itself is infinite, there's no beginning, there's no end? I mean, if you want to follow that. And then, what about like other universes too, or other dimensions, or what's even beyond our universe, if that makes sense? What about, like, again, infinite dimensions would be a good example. What about the fourth, the fifth, and the sixth, and seventh? I mean, if we just live in the third dimension, if there's something bigger out there than us, then it's essentially just saying, I mean, if this is true, then that's just saying that it's like a piece of fruit, for example. Even though it makes more sense that, if a piece of fruit was to rot out on the outside before it rots on the inside, but the way the universe would work, the third dimension would be like inside of the fourth dimension, or whatever's inside the universe. So, like, the stuff that we know, the observable universe, is like this big, let's just say, and the universe is like way bigger than this. It would be like, it would just be dying from the inside and then working its way outside, if you want to think of that as a metaphor. But my point is, if the universe was really dying, why is there so much out there that we don't even know about, that it's still longer lasting and living? Like, for example, you think of our solar system. We know that this planet is at least billions of years old. 4.7 billion years, or you've heard a lot of people argue that maybe our solar system's old, but I mean, there's really no evidence that it's like physically dying, if that makes sense. I mean, sure, it might be aging, but I mean, nonetheless, but it's aging in a way that it makes sense, but at the same time, though, if we were to say, but it's not like physically dying. I mean, if you want to consider that, maybe the sun might engulf the inner planets, Mercury, Venus, Earth, and Mars one day, and maybe the asteroid belt, I'm not sure about that, but but there's more evidence to believe that you would have like solar flares, or maybe something striking the Earth, but in a heavily impacted way, ending life like that, rather than it just physically decaying because of maybe the physics are changing within the universe, if that makes sense. Something beyond our understanding, even beyond my understanding. I couldn't tell you everything, but I could tell you that, I think the universe seems to be pretty fine right now, because, as of right now, even when science doesn't know everything, or the people at least can't interpret everything, we have to, you really have to look at, like, imminent threats, though. Is there really anything threatening the existence of the universe? Because again, that'd be the subject of topic right now that people would want to be directing their attention to. The only thing you could really think of that would do that is maybe black holes, and again, like stars blowing up, or maybe changing physics. But if you think about the way the universe is, the way it works at least, I mean, it seems to be fine. Galaxies move, planets move, stars orbit, or stars move. I mean, everything, even maybe the universe itself is moving, but it's too big to really measure, so no one really knows if the observable universe is moving, and the universe itself is moving, and, because everything else is moving. Why wouldn't that, And then who's to say what's beyond the universe, and, all these other things that could be on the side of it, like, infinite dimensions, infinite wormholes that lead to other, I mean, you just don't know. I mean, there's so much out there we don't know, but at the same time, though, it's a good question to think about, because, if it was really decaying, then it would mean that all life would never exist. But, but if you think about it, though, even if life, like if this planet ended, there would still be an infinite cycle that as time goes on, even when stars blow up, and even like as of right now, maybe in a galaxy somewhere far away, I know I don't mean that as a Star Wars reference, you know, maybe there's stars that are nearing the end of their cycle, they blow up, but over time they eventually, you know, all that material, because again, you know, energy can only be changed and multiplied, and eventually the cycle repeats itself. Another star is born, lives its long life, and then it blows up, and then, or, you know, does what it does, you know, or black holes. You know, my point is, if the universe was really decaying, that's essentially like saying that there's no way that these cycles could ever work. It'd be like the end of their days, and that would be the last of their kind, if that makes sense. But as long as the universe is capable of like reproducing somehow, and I don't mean like through sexual production, because, you know, obviously the universe isn't a man-made thing, or, you know, it's debatable. It's obviously still going to continue to do what it does, rather. So to say that the universe is decaying is highly illogical, because there's a way around it still.